Yeah, love in. Back at it. Back into it. Pursue it. Do it. So yeah, it's live. Coming through with the business trends for all my money friends, all the people trying to make the money equal flow to everybody that you know. So that's what I got. That's what I'm coming through with. Gonna be talking about business trends. Gonna be talking about business. Gonna be talking about the markets. Gonna be talking about the stimulus. So yeah, what should I start with first? Think I'm gonna start with the stimulus. So yeah, I mean right now really the stimulus stuff is trending pretty high, you know. Um it's not specifically trending on Google Trends today, but yeah, so it's gonna be trending really high on YouTube. Like people are putting out like three stimulus updates a day. Like they've been doing it for so long. I mean, people are really, really wondering are they gonna get another stimulus check. Nobody knows, depending on who you talk to, depending on who the news want to interview, um, they're gonna say yes, some are gonna say no. Politics, a lot of politicians looking like more towards the negative side. Of course, the Federal Reserve is saying that it's much needed. Basically, my opinion, you know, um, I think a lot of people would still need it. I think you know the economy has taken a dive. Obviously, I would imagine that the Federal Reserve, the chairman of the Fed, Jerome Powell, he's the one. He's really saying that more is needed. I don't think he specifically said pass the second stimulus bill, but what he has said is a lot more needs to be done. A lot more money needs to get out to people. A lot more money needs to be spent. Um, Basically, people are saying how like the second stimulus is passed, talking about like, a lot of the same things from the first one just getting repeated over again. But really, yeah, I think it's gonna here's like my this is my prediction, right? Like I'm going off of everything I heard, and basically a lot of people are saying that, you know, they don't know. No one knows. It's like the market. No one knows what's going to happen. So that being said, I think that basically it's going to come down to the market. And now again, this is just my opinion, but for right now, politicians are saying like they're putting it off. Like they're going to like kind of wait and see what happens. Now, if they were going just on the economy, like does the economy need another stimulus? Then technically the answer should be like no brainer. Like, yeah, like the economy would definitely improve if there was another stimulus payment to people. Like people are definitely at a point where, like I've said many times on this channel, it's a lot about financial education. So yeah, that being said, like people could really use some more money to put into the economy. Most people are in America at least, the majority of people can't even afford what do you call it, like a $500 emergency. Most people are in debt. I mean, that being the case, like, they probably needed this a long time ago. It just wasn't, the markets were doing so well, no one was really, uh, I would say, man, caring. Like, and politicians, when they're looking at this is what I'm getting to. Is like I think it's going to come down to the markets. I think these politicians are waiting to see what happens with the markets because I think when it comes to stimulus payments going out, a big part of this is it's a re-election year. A lot of people when it comes to like the economy and their pockets have a really short-term memory, the stock market, stuff like that. So people want to stay in power. People want to gain power. Um, I'm not gonna get into like which side is right or wrong. In my opinion, like I don't even think it's like a side. Like I don't even try to pick a side. I just try to pick like what is right. And I think both of them like have some idea of like, doing the right thing, but they just have different opinions. But basically like the market is kind of like, bottomed out and it did like this went up and now it's kind of like staying flat. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to wait to the next big move. I mean, even though like I think America's GDP was down something like 40%, which was worse than the Great Depression recently. So just going off of GDP, it's like, well, yeah, of course, like, if you're trying to avoid things getting worse by putting more money in, I mean, what would be the point of putting in a first stimulus if it didn't fix the problem? And the GDP is still low. If you need to put, if that's really what you're trying to do it for, is to fix the GDP, to fix the economy, then like, well, then that should be like, yeah, you should be putting more in. However, I think, what's going to happen is if the stock market's doing good, um, politicians like are going to be like, well, the stock market's doing good. People aren't losing their money in the stock market right now. They're probably going to vote, in our favor. I think if the stock market goes down, then they're going to be like, okay, we need to give people more money. Unfortunately, like a lot of things, it shouldn't be about politics, but I think it is. I think that's what it's coming down to right now. Um, just gonna have to wait and see. But really, I don't think we're gonna have an answer on that second stimulus until at least like the end of June. Um, they're just gonna wait and see what the market does. I think. I mean, again, that's my opinion. Like to hear yours because the thing is live right now. So big up yourself if you're watching. Big up yourself if you're watching later. You're large. Everything you do is good. All trying to grow, all trying to learn, all trying to know. So yeah, any passive income, any business questions you have, any market questions you have, anything really that has anything to do with money, anything with what I'm talking about, psychology of money, whatever it is, feel free to go ahead and drop a comment, drop a question. So yeah, I think that's about it for the stimulus thing. And also go ahead and hit the like if you haven't already. Coming in with new information steady. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you can stay in tune with the station. And I'm going to get to the next thing right now. So, trending Google Trends. It's going to be Walmart. First few Google Trends, as usual. Celebrity news. Something about like um, what celebrity did this. That's really what people are looking for. You know, to me, it's no surprise most people are broke. There's not Unfortunately, it's not. There's not a lot of resources out here for people. A lot of people are, working for basically like nothing compared to like a small majority of people who are bringing in all the money. When, as you see, there's billions and billions and trillions of dollars being printed out right now. From what I understand, the financial collapse of 2008 saw bailouts in billions of dollar range, and we've already done the, I think it was $3 trillion bailout for that first one. So yeah, it's definitely a different situation than before, but that makes sense because last time they didn't even fix the problem. They just threw money at the banks, threw money at the ones that were At the end of the day, everyone's kind of responsible because the banks were making bad loans to people, but people shouldn't have taken those loans. But a lot of people, if the bank's going to give them that loan, how are they going to say no? They're going to say yes because they're going to trust that the bank has their best interest in mind, which maybe is a different story. Maybe people's thoughts on that have changed since then. So anyway, yeah, Walmart has seen a drop. Walmart has had one of the biggest drops in stock prices right now. And what I'm reading from the trends is that basically like they're summing this up to the fact that they've had to spend so much money dealing with the virus because they're paying their employees bonuses. They're changing their store layout. They're doing a lot of like sanitizing stuff like that. So Walmart's saying, that, but I'm sure, like, I don't know, but I'm guessing they have had an increase in business. Actually, yeah, they did. That was one of the things in the article was that they did have a high. They beat expectations for the last time they reported their earnings. So yeah, well, like the stock's going down even though they reported earnings. That's why it's crazy right now. Like you look at the economy, and I mean it's worse than it's ever been. But the stocks have had like the biggest run up, like probably I can ever remember in my life. So yeah, things aren't really adding up. Like I said before, I mean the Federal Reserve took a lot of money and they've been buying up individual stocks like they've never done before. So that kind of explains some of it. But I mean, what's really going on? Who knows? That's why it's crazy right now. No one really knows what's going on. Like when it comes to a lot of things, so everyone's just got to go with the flow and just stay positive. Looking at all the opportunities right now, because I mean, there's a lot of opportunities when it comes to being at home, having internet. I've seen recently that the e-commerce has had a huge spike. Like basically, more people have been buying things online than ever before, especially in the past. I mean, it's been going up steadily over the past few years, whatever since the virus, it's been just like a huge spike up the amount of people shopping online. So this gives a lot of people a lot of opportunity, especially people who don't have a job right now, people who need income to learn about passive income, to learn about how to make money online. Um, Something very constructive you could do with your time, um, whether it's writing a book or making some rhymes. So yeah, just got to look at these opportunities. That's why I'm here doing the live. Just really been liking the live platform. Yeah, I know most people on YouTube do more videos, but maybe I'll start a separate channel just for live, separate channel just for videos. I'll see how it goes in the future. Really, my channel's pretty new. I'm just like putting out content that, for the most part, is about money. The most part about like abundance and mindset, psychology of money, and people getting rich. People spreading the wealth around, seeing more money in more people's hands. So, anything about that, I'm gonna just like go with the flow, whatever people are trying to hear, and expand on that. And going back to the Walmart thing, um, another interesting thing is like stores similar to Walmart have had increases in their stock prices. So it's like why Walmart, that's they're saying it's because of the extra money they spent, but a lot of stores have spent extra money. So yeah, it's really, really difficult to say why the market's doing what it's doing. It's really I think coming down to like, which stocks are the Feds deciding to buy? Are they doing it equal? Maybe one day they'll release like which ones they bought, how they made their decisions, stuff like that. I know everything I picked, everything I was telling this channel about, went up pretty good. Like I was talking about the cruise ships, I was talking about the airlines. Now, is it going to keep going up? Who knows? Basically, last week, a lot of people sold. There was a lot of negative news about midway through last week. And then I saw, just going on YouTube, going on the news sites, stuff like that, financial sites. A lot of other people, were like, I'm selling everything. I'm getting rid of all my stocks and everything like that. And then, like the very next day, when like the mainstream media was freaking out about stock markets and being super negative about it, a lot of people sold. Then everything just like spiked up and had a huge run up. Yesterday and today, maybe the biggest out of the last 2 days. So that just goes to show, like, I mean, you listen to mainstream media when it comes to your money, and good luck. So yeah, Amazon has gone up about 1%. So I mean, well, and this is one of the big things I got out of this article was like, Amazon has gone up, even though it's just 1%, they've gone up when Walmart has gone down. But Amazon claims to have spent $4 billion due to the virus issues with that, whereas Walmart has spent less than $1 billion. Um, maybe it's that Amazon has gotten way more sales, the e-commerce thing trending up. Maybe it's just that Walmart's overhead is not going to be with more time and time goes by, Walmart's overhead is going to put them out of business because they won't be able to compete with companies like Amazon with way lower overhead. And if you don't know, overhead's just basically like, Amazon's like an online company. Walmart has to pay for all these stores and has to pay for more employees and things like that. Uh, so going on to the next thing. The next thing is this one has been trending a couple times in the past few weeks, and this is ACB in particular, but it's basically a Canadian cannabis stock. A lot of cannabis stocks have had big increases. They were also though at like really really all time lows. Like these cannabis stocks had like had some really really highs. Like some of these cannabis stocks were up at like $45 a couple years ago, and then like they got down to like $5 within the last year. So yeah, they were really at the bottom of their cycle anyway. But also, as we all know, they've maybe people in America haven't really seen, depending on where you live, but Canada, Canada's fully legal. So Canada has seen a huge increase in basically people buying cannabis. America has always, all the legal places, they've always pretty much beaten their expectations as far as like what they think they're going to make. Um, it's a really gray area industry as far as legality, but the trends going in favor for the legal side, stocks and stuff like that. But it's mainly the Canadian stocks. American stocks, I think, would be a different story. I'm actually not even sure if the American companies can have stocks. That's like a different thing. That's like some regulatory stuff. That's like some legal stuff. But yeah, it's trending. This is like one of the top trending things on all of Google, and people are wondering about it. People are looking to invest in it. This one, the main one that's been trending is called Aurora, and yeah, like I said, it's out of Canada. And they, like I was saying, they were down at $5 for the low. They pretty much tripled, almost quadrupled because right now it's at like 15 or 16, but it did hit almost 20. So yeah, a lot of volatility with that too, which I mean you would expect with like an industry like that because it's not really established yet. Um, there's not a lot of money really in the stocks yet, and anything that doesn't have a lot of money, the less money that's in it, the more volatility it's going to see. Really, I could go on a lot of explaining that, but to simplify it, I'll just say it like this: like say Amazon stock has like $1 billion in it, right? And say another stock has like $1,000 in it. Well, if Amazon stock price were to double, it would need another $1 billion, right? But if $1 billion were put into this stock that had $1,000, that would like 100x the amount. So that $1,000 stock only needs another $1,000 in it to double. Also, too, if somebody sells like $500 of that $1,000 stock, it's going to lose half its value. So you can see how that works and how like volatility in a real simplified explanation how that works with that. But yeah, so this ACB volatility, third quarter earnings, May 14th, revenue went up 35% from their previous quarter. There was a major rally, and then that was like the other day, maybe end of last week, and now this week again, it's another one. Um, but like I was saying in the past, it went way up to like 45, and then back down all the way to like $5. And that was, I remember back like maybe 5 years ago, a lot of people were hyping up these cannabis stocks when even before like in Canada when like the market was even legal, and like back then it was just like a big risk. Like a lot of people that were talking about it then, even now, like don't even really understand the industry, don't even really understand like how the whole thing works, stuff like that, which is not surprising. A lot of people, it's something to where like, a lot of people don't even see it as like as being like legit. I don't know what the word would be. But yeah, it's still new. There's still a lot to learn. And most of the people, it's one of those things where most of the people are in it just to make a profit because they're seeing how volatile it is. So you got to consider that. I mean, with all these stocks, you got to consider like, is this something people are going to be buying to trade a lot? Like, look at the trading volume, um, or is this going to be something that people like buy and hold for a long time? So, yeah, just another thing to consider. But yeah, not really too much going on other than that. Um, you know, things are starting to open up, but uh for the most part, people are still not really going out like they used to, even though things are opening up. I even like my city or the city I'm living in right now. Couple of couple of the bars and restaurants have opened, but as I saw when I was driving by, for the most part, there's not crowds out there. Like the crowds are not returning. People are still being cautious, which I think is smart. Um, but that's going to say a lot for the economy. Because how long are people going to be cautious? Uh, Another thing too is like with the economy, a lot of it is based on like news about like the new vaccine, like whatever so and so company is going to make this vaccine, and so companies just had this breakthrough, and then like 3 days later it's like, well, actually that breakthrough is false, the company isn't really as close as they thought they were, and then the market drops again. um so yeah, it's media has a lot of power, whatever the media is kind of reporting on. But that's why I'm really so grateful that we have this trending information, which is why I'm out here doing these trending videos about business trends, how you can apply this to business, how you can apply this to money, because the trends speak for themselves, the money speaks for itself. You could go pick up 10 different newspapers and get in this big debate over like what news is like biased towards what political side, or like what country or whatever it is, but um I don't really think there's really much politics involved with you looking at trends about what people are actually searching for, what people actually want to know about. Um, that's something that the news can't compete with, and I think over time, more and more people can become aware of like what's actually trending, and they're gonna see like, okay, well, you know, I listened to the news and they told me last week that the stocks were tanking and that everything was going to fall again, and I sold all my stocks, and then the next day everything goes back up. People are making decisions based on that. They're probably not too happy. So as time and time goes by and they realize that the news is leading them in the wrong direction because they're telling them what they want them to hear, and they realize that there's a resource that they can use to see what's going on with actual trends that people are searching for, and they see that they have that other alternative, then I think things will change over time, and people will be more in tune with the trends than with what company wants them to hear. So yeah, it looks like no one's really got any questions or comments right now. That's cool. Kind of a slow day. So, be back again another day. But until then, just gotta say one more time, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm coming through with new information steady. Also, make sure you hit the bell notification so you can stay in tune with the station. Because each time I drop a video, when you hit that bell, it's going to go and tell you right away so you can catch the live stream when I do it on another day. And until then, I don't really have a set schedule with the live stream, as I'm seeing different times of the day, different days work better than others. Um, as I've found, this time in the evening um, isn't really there's not really too many live people right now. So yeah, thanks for the like, thanks for the subscribe. Everything's good. I'm gonna keep doing what I do. I'm gonna keep bringing information to you. I'm gonna keep doing what I gotta pursue to get the good information out, not the bad. So stay happy and not sad, and let that affect the way you go, so you can stay up and know that all you got to do is keep on doing what you want and keep on providing value to people in a positive way, and the money's coming through. Don't doubt yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do what you're trying to do. And to Catherine Taylor, again, thank you. It's good to see that you're coming through with the views. So yeah, everything's great. I think I'm going to end it off on that for the day. Have a good day, everybody.